I want to ask you about another talent in this era, Samoa Joe. It's written in the Torch that Ricky Steamboat is advocating big for Samoa Joe. At this point, he is the 21-month reigning Ring of Honor world champion, and he is a big advocate for Samoa Joe. Allegedly, so has Mick Foley been. But it's written about in the Torch, they're not so sure because at around 6 feet tall, give or take an inch, he's taller than Benoit, Guerrero, and Jericho, but shorter than Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista, and JBL. So he's around the same height as Shawn Michaels, but has a much thicker frame and a style unique to WWE's current roster. Clearly, everyone and their brother knew that Samoa Joe was going to be a star, but it was openly talked about here that maybe he just didn't have the right look that Vince was looking for. So this narrative that, oh, in order to get hired in the WWE as a woman, you had to have a boob job. Well, you kind of had to have the right aesthetic to get signed, even if you were a guy like Samoa Joe, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's the entertainment business. They're out there performing, doing their job in uh, elaborate underwear. So your body has to be factored into the overall decision as to who's going to get a shot and who's not. I think that Vince's idea, Vince is a body guy. As I had a hard time. I remember it almost broke my heart whenever we met with Eddie and Eddie Guerrero and Malenko, Dean Odino, and who else was in that group? Perry Saturn. There's one more. I forget somebody, Conrad. But the point is that they were short, and this is sort of commented to me when they left and are out the door. God damn, they're short. So that's like the same argument I used to get Jericho hired. He's a talent.
Yeah.
He transcends height. It's not height where it's abilities, and he's got drive and motivation. He feels he should be a bigger star than he is. Love that attitude. So that's kind of where I left that deal.
I wanted to ask you about pay-per-views here. It's in the Torch. There's going to be 15 WWE pay-per-views in 2005. That's because they're going to do joint pay-per-views, they're going to do Raw pay-per-views, and they're going to do SmackDown pay-per-views. Did you think at this point it was overkill? I mean, this predates the network. WWE is the only game in town. I know technically TNA exists, but not really. There's no WCW, there's no ECW. So, there is that afternoon show on Fox Sports Net, but it's really not a threat. But it does feel like overall business is down. Are we doing 15 pay-per-views to super serve the hardcore audience, or are we doing 15 pay-per-views because we've got to maintain that revenue? And if there's less casual fans, maybe we can just get more from the hardcores.
It's all about the revenue, opportunities to earn more, have more paydays. Buying a pay-per-view event is easy. It's usually a click. This is my remote. So it's very easy to do. So anyhow, it was the talent had mixed emotions. They're going to be asked to have these great matches at least once a month, which I thought was very doable personally. And one big game a month, shall we say. That's how I looked at it. And that's what plus they get a payday. How much you think we'll make? I don't know. It depends on how over you get and how much you're going to draw. You got to throw it back in their lap, not their face, their lap. A lot of how this show's going to do is going to be up to you. Can you get your program or your angle over? If you can and create enough interest and buzz about it, then we'll have some pay-per-view business, and you'll get paid fairly for your contributions.
Somebody who had a lot of contributions in WWE is Ed Cohen. He was the senior vice president who was in charge of live event booking, and he's been with the company like 25 years at this point.
Loyalist. He was a loyalist, Conrad. He bled Titan colors, whatever that would be.
I mean, he was working there even before Vince, quote unquote, Junior ran the thing. I mean, this is a lifer with the company.
Yeah.
And we as wrestling fans, we don't spend a ton of time talking about him. Do you think he was low key one of the most important executives WWE ever had? He had to be, right?
Absolutely. His relationship with all the arena managers was off the page. He would wine and dine and entertain and buy dinner, and had a lot of FaceTime with them. Not the telephone device, but real FaceTime. And they loved him. I went to 2 or 3 of his building manager conferences. I just saw an episode of SV the other night where there was a convention in a hotel, and everybody, all they were doing was drinking, and that's kind of the situation here. It was R&R, and man, Ed was good at it, and he was. I was just a little bit taken aback at how popular he was, and those guys call the shots. They clear the dates for you to run in. If you want to do a WrestleMania in Vegas, then I'm sure you're going to have a good relationship with the venue. You don't have big events, and now everything is a big event. Live events are big events. So WWE's on this amazing roll right now. I don't know have you heard anything about the ratings on Netflix?
Who knows if they're actually real, because there's no Nielsen. And so, no, I mean, yes, we've heard numbers. We've heard around 5 million, but who knows?
I thought it'd be that. I don't know. I haven't heard that, but if that's true, I'm a little disappointed.
You hope for more?
Yeah, I thought they'd do more.
I think they will when they get to WrestleMania time.
Well, here's the thing, Connie. You're talking to Jethro Bodine here, the nephew of the Clampets. I tried the other day to activate, what is it, Prime Video? And
Netflix,
whatever. Netflix. And on my remote, I jacked around with the son of a bitch for like 30 minutes. I was ready to throw the remote through the window, and I never got access. They don't make it easy enough for us old fuckers to log on and get this deal done. I was ready to go. I was ready to buy, but I couldn't get this thing to work. So I think that's going to be an issue. Not that everybody's stupid as I am on that area of life, but things like that slow down the process. Is my point. And that'll be you got to get over that hurdle, because a lot of people didn't watch Netflix, so they're going to get a lot of new viewers. They hope that's the idea.